Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
Welcome everyone to Sparking Change with Gigi. This is our special segment of Why Women Rise. And today's episode, we're going to be talking about being unstoppable and the journey through pain into purpose. We uncover how pain, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, it can become a pathway for growth, resilience, and transformation. So as we know, pain is not meant to define us, it's meant to refine us, guiding us to reconnect with our inner strength and purpose. And joining me today is a returning guest, Carol Nack, a highly experienced life coach with over 30 years of experience in coaching and counseling. She's based out of Nassau and Queens County, New York. Carol has dedicated her career in helping individuals navigate life's challenges, set and achieve meaningful goals, and create lives filled with purpose and fulfillment. Welcome back, Carol. How are you?
Thank you so much for inviting me again. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Started out with some challenges today with the computer, always a challenge for me. And here we are. We made it. We're doing the presentation.
And you know what? Let's look at these challenges as opportunity for growth, right? Because if we allow the challenges to stop us, then
I was ready to quit, to be honest.
And you didn't, and I'm so happy that you didn't.
I was feeling like a victim, and I never feel like a victim, but I did feel as if this computer stuff is overwhelming and annoying. And here I am saying, nothing stops me. I am going to beat this. This will not beat me. And that's my attitude about everything.
I love that. And that is why we're here today, to really discuss how this pain, even with computer pain, we're not allowing it to take control and define us, or not stopping us from achieving our goals, correct?
Absolutely. And underlying the feeling overwhelmed, underneath that is really like an unnoticeable or noticeable fear. Yesterday, I had to brush my dog's teeth, and I am fearless, but I was afraid that I wouldn't do the right thing. Here goes my monkey mind. I would be hurting her. What if I don't do all the teeth and one tooth is left out? What if? And I noticed that we all struggle with the fear. People that I work with have fear of driving. Yes. And fear of going on an airplane, and fear of crossing the street, fear of learning anything. And this person that I met said, "Oh, I'm not going to go for shoulder surgery. I'd rather have the pain." It's shocking to me.
So let's get into this, because we're going to talk about health and physical health and pain, and how it prevents us from truly living a happy life, right? Because of that. So, and your story is very inspiring, because I feel like at your age, many would have said no to surgery.
But I've met them this whole week. People who have to do surgery. Oh, my shoulder. Oh, I can't walk anymore. Oh, my. And they won't go because of the fear of surgery.
Right. And so.
And my decision inside of me says, I am fearless. I don't have to be afraid of the surgery. I want to have a good life. I want to play pickleball. I want to play ping pong. I want to swim laps in the pool. Nothing stops me. And therefore, the pain of the surgery is minimal compared to the outlook of my life.
I love that. But you weren't always looking at it from that perspective, right? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and what leads you to really changing that inner guidance, right?
The inner negativity that always says, no, you can't and you shouldn't.
Right. And now you're listening to the positive side. So what happened that, to you? Oh, tell us your story about how, because you had to experience something that created a shift to think differently.
Well, the way it started was that I'm a Holocaust survivor. That means that I escaped with my family while the Nazis were coming down in front of our house, and we left on the last train outside of Belgium. It was quite a terrifying event. And I somehow was 5 years old, and I said to myself, give me liberty or give me death. I can't take this. I was very little, but I still couldn't take what's going on. It just seemed really overwhelming. And for years, I lived that life of being stuck and being depressed and feeling like there's no exit. And being in pain is a form of having no exit anymore. I give up. I'll give up. And as I got older, I was listening to the opera. I was a passionate opera lover, and I love the passion that's expressed in opera. And I said, that passion gives us life. And that gives me the idea that I have hope, and I should be able to live with passion.
Yes. And it comes down to seeing that how limited we become when we allow the pain to take over.
Extremely limited. And the idea that there's no exit. So I may as well end my life because there's no way out.
But you knew that there was a better way. You knew you wanted more. You knew that there was opportunities waiting for you. Like you did not want to accept that there is no way out. But
actually, I had a very major car accident because I didn't want to continue. I thought that I had to exit because there was no way to manage life. And I survived this major accident and decided, well, I have a mission to accomplish. I've got to help people get through the way I got through. And every day is another mountain to climb. Every day is a new step to be challenged with. And one needs to take one step at a time. And sometimes that's hard to do.
It is, because you're getting out of the comfort zone, right?
Yes.
You're being challenged, like you said, to do something different. And, we understand that most of what we do, and this is science, tells us that 90% of what we do is subconsciously.
Yes.
Right? So we're working on a programmed mind that wants us to stay safe and comfortable and protect us. But protecting us means that we don't get to explore. We don't get to step outside the box.
And we don't get the chance to experiment and be courageous to move forward. Correct. In fact, it does take a lot of courage to move forward in new directions.
So what does unstoppable mean to you today? And for the record, we want to say that you are going to be 90 this year.
I hate to think of it, but I do feel like 60.
Yay! You do look 60. Okay. But so what? So
I'm very energetic. I like to look at myself as very energetic and unstoppable because I won't stop at anything. I'm going for shoulder surgery in order to complete being a bionic woman and playing pickleball and going swimming and parasailing and lap swimming and ping pong.
I love it. I love it. And you're finishing up your book. You're writing a book. I mean, let's talk about how, you have great vision of yourself, just exploring more, right? We're here to explore and expand. I do know that for sure. And once we step into knowing that, we're not really so concerned about when the end is coming. We don't want the end to come, because when you become unstoppable, you don't see an end. Correct?
That is correct. I don't see an end, but I also am okay with that. It doesn't matter because I'm going to do whatever I'm supposed to be doing, which is helping people transform and change their lives. And I am good at that because I can help anyone that crosses my path. However, there is a caveat about that. The caveat is a willingness. If you are willing to transform and change and go through the steps, you will achieve great heights. If you are not willing, it's too much and you're too afraid and you're not willing to take the risks, and the negativity overwhelms with the objections that we all have as we have to climb another mountain. And that always interferes with our progress. And that is often called the monkey mind, because the monkey mind is saying to us, no, you can't. You shouldn't. What if? And these words ruminate and prevent a person from taking the next step. And it's extremely powerful, unfortunately.
And it's also, I love that, because the monkey mind looks at the outside and says, nobody has done that. Who do you think you are? Right?
Oh, that frequently happens. The who do you think you are?
Right. And what are they going to say?
And what will people think?
And what will people think? Right. So we can go on and on and on how the outside world has influences what our desires are, what our goals are. And we allow it to stop us.
And when you're thinking about goals, I often think about what my inner self really wants. Maslow years ago said that each one of us, there's a part of us that craves self-actualization on a daily basis in the present, in the now, to be able to climb the mountains.
So what does that really mean?
Wait a minute. And each time I self-actualize myself, let's say I brushed my dog's teeth, or I went into the swimming pool or went into the ocean and decided to swim regardless, even though I'm told, oh, watch out, you just had a hip replacement, watch out, why isn't your aide with you? And so I'm aware of my inner self moving forward, full of hope and passion all the time, every day, because that negativity is like how would I say it? A negative umbrella.
Mm-hmm. The umbrella has holes in it, right?
What?
I said the umbrella has holes in it. You're not protected.
Exactly.
It's a false protection. It's a false protection, because I believe, what self-actualization does is helps you to be strong and go after what you want, regardless of what's being presented. Am I correct?
Regardless of the limitations that are presented from the outside world, parents, school, religion, all the outside influences. Yes.
So your determination comes from that self-actualization. Your confidence comes from that self-actualization.
From the actions taken in the here and now, over and over and over.
So in a sense, it's like we're reprogramming our mind to follow the inside versus the outside.
Which leads to the outside.
Which leads to the outside.
Responsive behaviors.
So when someone is fearful of taking that next step, whether it's a new job or a new career or doing something,
having a baby or getting pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
or falling in love.
I remember, actually, you just said that when I was having my first child, I was a mess. And I remember being in that wheelchair going up to the room, and I go, if 1,000,000,000,000 women do it over and over again, I can do this. I had to literally talk to myself to find the strength to say, no, I can do this. I can do this. And if we use that with everything else, I believe this is how we achieve our purpose.
I
Because
like that idea. I can. The two words, I can, like the little choo-choo train that I can go up and up and up.
and
Yes,
yeah. And was it Henry Ford? He said, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right.
that is absolutely true.
It's whatever we say that is correct. So I never thought of this, but the words that we speak to ourselves and we speak out to the universe matter. We don't think they do, but they do, because they guide us to the next step. If we say, I can't do this, that means I'm staying home. If I say I can do this, that means I'm going to move forward, right?
Absolutely.
So looking at it from that perspective, that it's what we say that guides us to the next step.
And what you're doing is kind of reframing yourself from fear into possibility, from fear to possibility, and seeding new ideas and growth, which is really a challenge, and exciting.
We get a lot of pressure when we are going through pain, right? And if you think of a diamond, it has to be going through a lot of pressure before it shines.
Nicely put. Very nicely put. I really love that.
And I don't think we're any different. I don't think we're any different, because nothing will come easy and shine. Right? So, but at the core, the diamond will shine. And I think that everything that we've been through, right, the pain is going to lead us to our purpose. And that's why, this show is called that, because it's not going to come easy. And you're on a mission to help others. I'm on a mission to help others to see that at the core essence of who we are a beautiful shining light. But it's
that the idea of being a shining light is really opening doors, and opening many doors of opportunity, which are endless.
right. But the experiences that we had in life, like you mentioned, your Holocaust for you had dimmed the light.
Dim the light, without a doubt, a lot.
But
what bothers me is that there's again a whole world full of that pain for individuals throughout the world in different places. People are suffering with enormous amounts of pain. I hope that they'll all investigate havening and breathing in order to move forward in the here and now, instead of saying, oh, I know several people who have pain and say, I need some oxycodone. And very quickly from oxycodone, they get addicted and become unwilling to really reframe anything. They just said, oh, I'm in so much pain, I got to take some more oxycodone. And this is actually happening to a lot of people when they go through the pain. It's true, it is very difficult to tolerate pain, I must admit. And one has to be able to say, I'm eager to live. I'm eager to live with my grandkids. I'm eager to laugh with them and be silly. I'm eager to crawl on the floor at Ronald McDonald's with the children who are struggling with cancer. I'm eager to do that because it means something to them and it gives them a chance to make a better life.
Yes, and I think that becomes the purpose, right? That becomes the strength that keeps you going. You got to have something to look forward for, to do, to feel that there is a purpose of why we're here, right? Everything has a purpose. Everything. A car has a purpose. A refrigerator has a purpose. Who's to say we're not created and we don't have a purpose? I think we are, now that I know, going into personal development, we're here for a purpose, on purpose, and we have to discover what that is.
And that's a process.
It is a process.
It takes a lot of courage for being willing to do the process. And I like to use the word process because it gives opportunity to me as a therapist to use all kinds of skills: Gestalt, transactional analysis, hypnosis, havening, physical therapy, breathing, endless tools to which we could access in order to change and transform ourselves.
And, this is part of why, at the bottom of the screen here, I have join us on 11/01/25 World Energy Quantum Healing Summit. It is all about that. It is about visiting these tools that are not readily available, or they're scattered all around, but to bring holistic healing to one place, central place. And I'm so excited for this because, there's going to be research, information. There's going to be people that can try things out to learn how they can release the pain, the emotions that are really, and the beliefs that are holding us back, right? To know that there's infinite possibilities of getting well. You made a decision that you were going to feel better, and you seeked out for help and got surgery, a hip replacement, I believe it was.
Yes, and a lot of other stuff at the same time.
And you were not going to accept a no.
I'm not going to accept the pain that I had for decades.
That's
and
right.
Now, I must admit, and I want to share with everybody, feeling pain-free is a sense of freedom that nobody can imagine. It's an opportunity to begin life all over again and be reborn. I actually feel as if I have an opportunity to be reborn again.
Amazing. And that's why you feel unstoppable, right? Because pain, like you said, can deliberate you where you can't move. You can't do anything. You can't enjoy life. And we're here to enjoy life, but you have to make that decision, take the first step. And that's what you did, Carol. Like you
did. And thank you for noticing that. I did take the first step and everything else.
That's right. And so, this is what we want to say to the world, is that, to my viewers and everyone, change can happen. But the very first thing is you must want it. You must say
willingness to change is the key to change, to transformation, to being a new you.
Yes. And so, I know now that because I've studied what I studied, when we're not feeling good, we're either thinking about the past of all the things that have happened to us, or we're thinking about the future and we're worried about the future. And you mentioned before about being in the present moment. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
It is so important to notice or become aware when I'm anxious. Oh my God, I'm anxious. It's like the old world, the old values that I had growing up, when I was anxious all the time because of the war, because my parents are fighting, because I'm sick and I don't know what's happening, etc. COVID came, I'm feeling helpless. And then there is the opportunity to be in the future. And again, you're back to worrying and being scared and wondering, what if? And then you can go, or I stay in the here and now. In the here and now, we have total control. I can pick up my phone or not pick up my phone. I could take a shower or not pick up a shower. I can read a book or not pick up. That freedom strengthens your inner soul, your inner self, and heals the mind and the body, because when the mind and the body are integrated and the inner self feels self-actualized, that kind of freedom gives you a passion for life and experiences. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's kind of like the beginning path, right? Because you're on this path of now exploring with no pain,
Wow.
right? And the
I can't get over the snow pain.
there's no pain. Well, you know, they say no pain, no gain, but this is the opposite.
This is the opposite.
This is the opposite, because everything has an opposite, you know, and let's talk about that, because the law of polarity, you know, I had to study the universal laws as I grew in awareness of why are we here, right? So I went into and I started studying metaphysics, and metaphysics gets into the universal laws. And one of the universal laws is the law of polarity, which means everything has an opposite. So where there's pain, there's also pleasure, right?
Right.
Where
Absolutely.
there's darkness, there's also light. So most of the time we're in the dark because we're living in the future with the unknowns, and we get very scared.
Absolutely.
And the fear, like you mentioned earlier, will prevent us from taking that next step, right?
And begins to give us more limitations that we support, instead of saying, I'm not going to listen to those limitations. I am going to look at new resources.
Right. And I feel that as soon as you make that decision, then the doors begin to open up.
Yes, I love that word, the doors open up.
The doors open up to reveal to you what's possible.
Yes.
And that's the, you know, the other side of when somebody says, I don't believe that. You know, we're trained to say we have to see it to believe it, but it's actually the reverse. We have to see it. You know, we have to see ourselves winning the marathon before you're going to win the marathon. I don't want to win the marathon, so I'll never see it. But the truth of the matter is we have to see ourselves already there, achieving what we want in order to experience it. So it is the reverse of what we're made to believe, right? So did you see yourself as you were going down this journey of, I want to feel pain-free? Did you see yourself pain-free?
That was very hard to comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
That truly was very difficult.
But at some point, because I
couldn't imagine what pain-free would be. Because I never have been pain-free. For years, I had moments of going skiing or parasailing or doing whatever, but it was always in spite of my pain that I was experiencing. There was always something.
But that was the key. That was the key to your success. You saw yourself doing something that at that moment in time, you could not do. That's why everything worked out for you.
I don't get that. What did you just say?
You saw yourself going skiing, wanting to ski.
I did go skiing in spite of the pain. I did everything in spite of. I was unstoppable. I would ignore my pain and do it anyway for years, because somehow there weren't many solutions. Now, by the way, the medical profession has really advanced tremendously. So people are fearful about surgery, but the advancements are so incredible that surgery is amazing.
Right. What I was trying to say before is that you did things as if you were well, despite of the pain.
Yes.
Okay. Where most people will say, I cannot do that because I'm in pain.
Exactly. I said I'm in pain, and the hell with it. I'm going to go do it anyway. My big words in life is do it anyway.
I love that. And because of that, doors opened up for you to get the surgery.
And
I truly,
also finding the best surgeons who won't
Mhm.
make a mistake so that I come out well.
Right. And so what you did was you went through this process of exploring the possibilities because your mind was made up. I'm going to do it anyway, regardless of this pain.
Yes, always. I always
Versus,
said that.
right. And the opposite side would have been, I cannot do that because I'm in pain.
Exactly. That's what most people do all of the time and limit their lives. And then they're very unhappy. And you could see it in their faces that they're not feeling good about themselves because they stop self actualizing. And the inner self did not give themselves a chance to grow and become like a seed or a shrub or a flower that blooms.
I love that. I love that. And we are all meant to bloom.
Yes.
We're all meant, and when we're not blooming,
We're shriveling.
I was trying to find a word that matched with that, but I didn't. But yes, we're shriveling. Exactly. We're not exploring the best that life has to offer. And, it comes down to changing your mindset, changing, the thermometer is set at 60, and at 60 is not pleasant. We have to change it up a little bit. Right. And bring up the dial a little bit. So you wrote your book. Can you talk about your book a little bit?
What would you like to know about my book? It's
What inspired you
the
to?
evolution of self-actualization, if I would look for a generality.
Okay.
The struggles that went along with all that journey.
Right. But
And it was a journey of despair and joy.
So you're telling your story, your own story in your book?
It's not particularly my story. It is a story and includes a lot of my story.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I wanted to make it fun, the idea is really stories.
Yes, yes. We do learn through stories. Our own personal story becomes our strength. Part of why we're here. I truly believe that, and now that it's through our own experiences that we can help others. That's why there's never any competition in what we do. It's always collaboration and connection, right?
Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. You have a word with the words.
It's just
You have
coming
a wisdom with the words is what I meant to say.
Thank you. And it's coming from the heart, because when you start to think, it's not when you start to think differently, and again, I got great training to think differently. It's not about me, it's about we. And
Yes.
so, right, so we have this obligation in order to feel good to ourselves. Once we get self-actualization, like you mentioned, we understand that we're here to serve each other the best we can.
That is true.
Right? But before we can serve each other, we really need to get to know ourselves better. Right?
And then we could complete a mission.
Yes.
With our vision of healing.
I believe at the core of everything there is, we need to feel good about ourselves first. That's why we go through this process of cleansing and forgiving and
reframing.
And we're born again with
new possibilities.
Right. To really know that we're here we are part of the big picture, right?
Yes.
We're not, I used to use the analogy, and I still use it sometimes because my brother has a pizzeria. I go, the world is a big pizza pie, and we are one slice of it. We're not separate from the pizza. We're not another pie. We are the slice of the pie.
That is a beautiful analogy. I love that. That's incredible.
And so, in order to have a nice pie that tastes good, we have to all stay connected. We are at the core, we are all connected. And the pain, I believe, comes in when we have to remember what we were. The pain comes in because we got disconnected from from our essence.
I like that.
And, and again, I'm talking from a personal journey. And I feel that once we open these doors to learn about ourselves first, we discover the purpose. That leads us to our purpose, but we do need to stay connected to our truth, right? And self-actualization did that.
Yes, your truth is the self-actualization that strengthens your inner core and your inner self. And so it makes us less vulnerable to outside influences when we have a strong inner core.
And, I know we're born with a strong inner core. That I know.
Yes, except that it gets chiseled down little by the world influences, by social media, by TikTok and Facebook and all that.
So the key to living a better life is to follow that inner voice, that inner compass.
Yeah, I love that word, inner voice and inner compass. That is magnificent.
But that's what it is. It's our guiding. For me, that's what I know what it is for me now, right? I can feel when I'm in the wrong direction. And it's funny, and I'll say this. The other day I did something where the answer was definitely a no, no, no. And how do I know I'm not on path? Let's say I'm not on purpose. The universe will make sure that it doesn't work out.
Would you be more specific about what you mean and what happened that you went through that?
So I went to a friend to ask for help on a project. And I know I want to do this project. And I really thought that this friend was the key to making it happen. But it was like, I don't have time. I don't have time. This is not going to work out. And I'm like, but you were helping me before. So instead of giving up on the project, it was just the universe telling me that wasn't the right person. Mm-hmm. So sometimes we get confronted with, people come into our lives to share a lesson. Life is a lesson. Life is school. It's a life, everything we do in life, we should take away a lesson from it. Everything. And so I know that going through my own transformation, there were a lot of lessons that I needed to learn. And so to become a new version of myself, right? And now I listen to the people that come into my life and say, okay, what is that trying to teach me? Whether it's a person, whether it's a thing, whether it's pain in my knee, I'm like, okay, why is my knee hurting me? What am I doing? Right? There's a message that we get derived from this. And I believe that we are so focused on the outside, we don't allow to focus on the inside. We can't do both. You can only do one thing at a time.
I think that's a very beautiful analysis of how we could function as human beings. And processing is what you're talking about. Whatever we do, we need to process, look at resources, and look at possibility, and look at opportunity, and feel like a flower that keeps on blooming, shrubs that keep on growing.
So there's a lot of research based upon our emotions, right? There's molecules of emotions. And now I understand more than ever that our emotions is energy in motion. And so when we get these emotions that, kind of
overwhelm us at different times.
Overwhelm us or puts us in a stress mode, anxiety, what do you recommend for your clients to do?
First step is sit in a chair. Put your 2 feet on the floor so that you can become grounded. Inhale into a very deep breathing, inhaling oxygen, putting your hands on your abdomen to activate a connection between your brain and your abdomen and your body. And inhale to the count of 5 if you can. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Open your mouth and go, ha! And the more you repeat that, you calm down. And a very important part of that process is when you're feeling really uncomfortable to start with, you give yourself a number. I am a number 10 of anxiety and discomfort. You start the breathing process, and lo and behold, you say to yourself, what number am I up to? And your goal would be to wait till you're a 0. And sometimes you never get to the 0 because there are too many monkey mind versions interrupting your ability to get to 0. So you want to be kind to yourself and have compassion and allow yourself to be willing to explore what's going on. And that is called processing. So that at the end of processing or your journey, you come out with new ideas, new resources, new opportunities, new possibilities, and new courage to take the next step. And you actually can stand up and take a step forward and see where that takes you. So that's one of the first ways of beginning to be in your present moment.
I love that. I love that. And that totally takes control. You're taking control over what you want and not allowing the anxiety or the fear to control you.
Perfect. Perfect. Yes.
I love that. And so staying connected. You know, you said put your hands on your heart or your belly, your abdomen, and your heart. You're actually making a connection
to your inner self, to your inner self that allows you to self-actualize.
I love that. And so, you know, part of this, you know, I know the Western side recently are really becoming big on meditating, right? The Eastern side, they're way advanced. But meditation actually does the same. Meditation, prayer helps you to connect
to yourself.
To yourself.
Yeah.
And that is where we feel more grounded.
Yes.
And that is where we release the pain. Right? Making that connection. And, you know, and that's...
Or anxiety, however you want to call it.
Correct. And that takes
effort.
Effort and time, right? Because I remember...
And most important, again, I'm back to the willingness.
Of course. Of course. Of course.
To me, that word willingness is the key word to transformation.
That's
of
right.
Any kind.
And I have to say, even through your journey, you know, you take this step and then there's people that are there, you know, in communities or people you can speak to continue this journey, right? That even though you could be on the brinks of giving up, there's somebody out there that can hold your hand.
I like that expression, hold your hand. And
hold your hand.
Everyone needs some kind of person to hold their hand and support.
That's right.
And compassion.
So, but we have to be that for ourselves first. And I think that's the breakthrough for me when I went through my transformation, is to have the love, compassionate for myself, me first. You know, we learned to, you know, after I went through my cancer journey, I learned to fill up my cup first. I used to fill up everybody's cup. Then I had nothing to fill up my cup for. You know, I had no energy left for me. So
love that expression. That's really very significant.
to fill up our cup means to make us, we are responsible to make ourselves happy. We are responsible to make ourselves calm, peace. It all comes from within us first.
Absolutely.
And learning, which again was a big shocker to me, even though I had all the degrees behind me, learning that the outside world is creating the image of how I feel inside was like a big eye open, a big wake up call, because you attract what you feel. So if you feel defeated, you're going to meet people that feel defeated. But if you feel unstoppable, you're going to meet people that are going to make you feel unstoppable. Just like you and I'm unstoppable, and so are you.
Absolutely.
Right? So
I think this is a good place to stop, to own our unstoppable inner self and connection to our mind and body.
But it takes
soul, mind, body, and soul.
Yes. And that's the key, is that, I used to say, and I just said it in one of my groups yesterday, that as a teacher, we're taught to teach the whole child. That means you're not just teaching the intellectual part, you're also teaching the emotional and the mental side. You're helping them with the whole aspect of the child, right? In order for them to achieve success in the academics. Well, in order for us to be well and to go through, to feel better, the whole person needs to be taken care of when you are going through a health challenge, right? We can't just say, oh, the physical body needs to be fixed, but let's not worry about the mental or the spiritual part. Body, mind, and soul all need attention. And part of this, part of what we're doing at the summit as well is to help people understand and have that knowledge that, when I went through my cancer journey, yes, I was fixed physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, I was broken.
Very nice input. Thank you for sharing that.
I'm speaking from the heart. I'm speaking from the heart. And until we understand, or until I understood that I needed to take care of my emotions, the mental part and the spiritual part, because all three create the human being, not just one part.
Thank you.
Right? Beautiful. So I share this from my heart because this is the knowledge that I know, having 2 master's degree, was never taught. In school, parents, church, everywhere. We're never taught that to heal ourselves from experiences, traumas, that the whole person needs to be healed. And that's where the magic happens, because the only way to heal the mental and spiritual side is to connect with our true self, with our true essence. Right? And that's what you did, Carol. That's what you did all along.
For many, many years. I've been doing it since I'm 5 years old. Evolving is really the word that I have worked on. And I always knew that was my mission in life, is to evolve so that I could have value for other people.
And when you evolved, you expanded. You expanded your experiences in life.
Yeah.
Right? You didn't get stuck and be in one place. It's funny, when I first used to go to work in corporate America, it used to be like, oh, you stay at IBM for 30 years and you're going to have a nice pension and you'll be done. But that's not evolving. That's not expanding. That's staying comfortable.
That's acceptance.
That's acceptance.
Which for many people, you want to say that does work.
Because it's in their comfort zone. But I will say they missed out on great opportunities, great experiences. Because staying comfort does nothing for us. It steals away our joy, our purpose.
So what you're saying really is joy and purpose is a mission to accomplish feeds the soul, feeds the self-actualization, feeds the inner self, the
Yes.
inner core or your essence and your spirit.
Yes. And our true health comes from there first.
Oh,
When
without
that
doubt.
is feeling good and that is in alignment with our purpose, when the soul is on its path, on its right path, it will not feel the pain. Yes, we're going to hit some bumps along the way, of course, but we're not going to feel the cancer. The cancer will not exist.
Wow.
Because I feel that you're happy. You're going on the path that you're supposed to be on. When we're not on this path, we are feeling pain. But
It's true.
it's life and it's experiences that we're having to teach us lessons, but we don't have to end it there. Right? It doesn't have to be pain for us to get to where we have to go. But we do have to surrender. We do have to say, okay, what can I do to make my life better? And that's surrendering. What do I need to learn? Who do I need to call? I need to change. Like what is it? Insanity is saying doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results, but then you really want something different. Nothing different will happen until you finally say, I need to do something different. You can't go on the same road, hit traffic every day, same road, and every day you're cursing out everybody who's on the road, but yet you do not decide to take a different route. The option's there, right? So
I love it. I love it. I love it.
So, if we're doing the same thing every day and we don't like what the results we're getting in our life, then that means you're ready for change. Because
you're willing. If you're willing, I have to impress you.
So in order to live a harmonious life, I believe that we need to consider the whole person, and listen to your heart and listen to what your inner self, higher self, your true essence, and move from there. Because I see this is what you did at your age. There are not many at your age that would step into new beginnings. But new beginnings can happen at any point in anybody's life. All you need to do is make a decision, be willing for change, have the faith, let the faith be greater than the fear. Because you can't be both at the same time. You have a choice. Remember, you can't look at a coin, the heads and tail at the same time. Either you're looking at the heads or you're looking at the tail. Either you're in faith, you're living in faith, you're doing it with faith and confidence it's going to work, or you're doing it with fear. But it is a choice. The willingness is a choice. And I believe that's what you did.
That's really a good point. Willingness is definitely choice.
It's a choice. So I love the fact that you are unstoppable. And I just can't wait to get your book. I recommend people, if they want to contact you, they go to carolnack.com to connect with you.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
I'm always open to helping anybody who is willing.
And Carol, you've made a tremendous impact on my life and on my journey. I want you to know that. And, I know if you can make it to 90, I'm definitely going to make it to 90. As long as I keep going the same direction as you, right? Helping others to see their best self, helping others to shine their light. And that's what we're here to do.
I love that. Shine their light. Yes.
We are here to help each other shine our light. And, I always say that love brings us together. Hatred, resentment, jealousy, it's separation. So in order for us to truly live harmoniously, harmonious means togetherness, staying connected.
Yes.
Right? and be respectful of each other, because we are all part of that big pizza pie.
Pizza.
We're all part of that big pizza pie. Anyway, any final words? Last golden nugget?
Life is a peach.
Let's live
Or
it.
rather, life is a delicious cherry.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Carol. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, this is Why Women Rise. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for joining me on Why Women Rise. I hope you leave today a little more inspired, a little more empowered, and reminded of the unstoppable force you are. Remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and your rise is just beginning. Until next time, stay rooted in your purpose, bold in your truth, and always rising. I'm your host, Giovanna Tartarone, and this is Why Women Rise. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that will help us to be stronger together and rise. Ready to become a guest or sponsor of our show? Head over to whywomenrise.com to apply for details. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again